Yo, what is up, guys? I'm gonna be doing something that I haven't done in a very long time, and that's gonna be a what if video. So, what if video for today is what if Goku had landed on Master Roshi's island when he was sent um, from planet Vegeta by his father Bardock. So, we're gonna have pretty much the same thing in the Broly movie play out, except this time he's gonna end up with Master Roshi instead of Grandpa Gohan. So first major change is going to take place is that unlike Grandpa Gohan, Master Roshi will not succumb to the Great Ape that Goku has in his possession. And the reason why this happens is because when you look at the series of Dragon Ball, Master Roshi was able to survive by blowing up the moon against a theoretically stronger Great Ape. And the fact that Grandpa Gohan had told Goku not to look at the moon would mean that he would have theoretically survived against the Great Ape at least once. And when you consider that Master Roshi is stronger than him, I don't see any reason why Master Roshi would get killed by the Great Ape. So from there, when we talk about their actual experience together, Goku and Master Roshi would get along very well. Goku would still take very easily to martial arts, and Master Roshi, sensing this, would obviously train him from an earlier age. This would mean that Goku would be way stronger. When it comes to the different relationships he would have, he would know Chi-Chi earlier on because, as well as Grandpa Gohan earlier on, because, Master Roshi would have a connection with those two people, seeing as those are two of his former students. And but obviously, Goku would spend most of his life stuck on Master Roshi's island, just training, looking at dirty magazines. So he would pick it up from Master Roshi. He'd be more perverted because of Master Roshi. And for those of you that would wonder why Master Roshi would take Goku on, you have to consider he easily allowed Krillin to stay on his island, even though Krillin should really been out there after he was done training, even though he was an adult. He allowed the turtle to stay. So I don't see Master Roshi is just kind of a chill guy like that. And obviously, like I said earlier, Goku would pick up a lot of his good and bad tendencies, put it that way. And by the time Dragon Ball starts, if we're going to go by power scaling, Goku should honestly have a power level of probably like, say 1,000. I'd say 1,000, because he's going to be training with Master Roshi for approximately 10 years. He's gonna, and when you consider the amount of potential he has as a Saiyan, I don't see why 1,000 is not exactly unrealistic for him to do. So our story will pick up when Bulma eventually reaches Master Roshi's island to collect his Dragon Ball. Now she would have reached there a little bit later because she wouldn't have stopped to help the turtle without Goku's influence there. However, she would eventually have to go on there anyway because of the Dragon Radar. And what I think would happen is that she would be able to get the Dragon Ball from Master Roshi. However, in this scenario, I'm also going to add Grandpa Gohan with her. I feel like he would want to come on this adventure simply because he would feel cooped up in being in his house all the time. And because she would have had to have met him first anyway to get his Dragon Ball. And she would have gotten his Dragon Ball through some interesting means, let's put it that way. And she'd also get Master Roshi's Dragon Ball also through some interesting means, if you understand what I'm saying. And I feel like Goku would be familiar with Grandpa Gohan, so he would greet him or whatever, and eventually Master Roshi would think that would be a good idea for Goku to go on an adventure with Bulma just to see what the world is like. So essentially, we'd still have the same hunt for the Dragon Balls that we did earlier. It's just this time Goku would be obviously more familiar with the world around him, so what grows on, stuff like that. 1, 2, we'd be significantly stronger. So pretty much any and all opposition that they run into, whether it be Yamcha, the Pilaf Gang, the Carrot Dude, all of that, they just pretty much get one-shotted. Pilaf's Gang don't even really have a chance to capture them. Yamcha, I think, would still turn good. because he would try to get the Dragon Balls through his cunning. And I think he and Bulma would still have their old romance thing. And in this situation, so once Bulma gets the Dragon Balls, there won't really be anything to wish for because she and Yamcha would have solved each other's problems, and Goku would have solved each other's problems. So honestly, I don't even know what the wish would be about, and honestly, it's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, the first arc of Dragon Ball would end with pretty much no hiccups at all whatsoever. So by the time Goku returns from his adventure with Bulma, he would come back and he'd still meet Krillin, who would be there of his own accord to get trained from Master Roshi. And Goku would kind of just be like the supervisor since, at this point, he would be incredibly strong. So if Goku's at about, let's say, Raditz power level, so he's at 1200, Master Roshi would be at like, let's say 1500. So we'll try and be a little bit stronger for now. So Krillin would be way stronger just by association of training with these two behemoths, relatively speaking. So Krillin would be way stronger by the time the World Martial Arts comes by. His relationship with Goku would be less antagonistic because Krillin would have literally no superiority complex to try to play off of in the first place. No, Goku would be as naive to some of his tricks. Also, in this scenario, you pretty much have a Goku that fights, that utilizes way more of Master Roshi's tricks. So you'd obviously already know Kamehameha. You'd also use more of, his hypnosis, illusionary tactics. You might even know the Mafuba. So he would be way more equipped to be more of a tricky, adept fighter than he is in the original series. And the World Martial Arts tournaments, Master Roshi wouldn't see any point in competing as Jackie Chun because these two would already pretty much nail the lesson that he's trying to teach about there always being stronger people. So he wouldn't really need to compete. Thus, Goku would beat Krillin in the finals, bring back some Zenny, and his name would start to be more recognizable. Now, when it comes to the Red Ribbon Army, the way that Goku would encounter them would be a little bit different, since in this scenario, he doesn't really have, there's no really attachment to the 4-star balls, his grandfather's memento. However, he would be on good terms with Bulma, Yamcha, and the rest of them, so I feel like one day Bulma would contact him and tell him that, the Dragon Ball seems to be gathered in a mysterious place, like they're all grouped together. So she would tell him just to check it out, in case it was the Pilaf gang up to their old tricks again. And when Goku would go to go do that, he would run into the Red Ribbon Army. Now, the poor army, let's say at this point, would be pretty much having most of the Dragon Balls gathered in their base, just to simplify the story. Now, if Goku destroyed their base in the original, this Goku, who's Raditz level, by the way, who's strong as Raditz, would decimate, absolutely wipe out the entire Red Ribbon Army, including Dr. Uro, including all of the androids, just by how strong he is. So yeah, everything's getting destroyed, wiped the hell out. There's no surviving, there's none of that. So he would decimate the entire army with absolutely no resistance whatsoever. He would pretty much stop their plot to take over the world, and news of this would spread, and that would lead into our next arc. The Pilaf gang, knowing that they can't do jack to Goku at this point, would, in the original Dragon Ball, would go to their backup plan of restoring King Piccolo. However, he ain't doing jack either. Once he gets restored, he's still gonna be old and decrepit, and if he tries to fight Goku, he's gonna get his ass beat. Just to simplify it, he's gonna get his butt beat. And yet, however, before he dies, he's going to still spout an egg that's gonna lay Piccolo Jr. And that will be at this point where Goku will go to train with Kami for defeating King Piccolo. Now, Kami at this point, saying no to Sengoku's power, wouldn't really be worried about Piccolo. However, he'd still want to train Goku just as a reward for killing the original Demon King Piccolo. And while Goku doesn't really get that big of a power increase at this point, I'll put him at about 2,000 in terms of power level once he's done training with Kami. However, his martial arts refinement would be very vast, so he would be able to learn how to fly. Like officially, you'd be able to fly, you'd be able to sense energy. He would be more calm and more of a, I want to say, he would be more of a spiritual fighter in the same way he is, so he'd be more mature. And I'd say at this point, this would still land him at around the same age that he was when he fought Piccolo Jr. Now, at this point, I realized I skipped the second martial arts tournament, and he would still defeat Tien as well. So that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of this. But yeah, he would still fight Piccolo, and he'd still defeat him as well, and he wouldn't kill him due to the fact that he would need the Dragon Balls. So that would pretty much be the end of the Dragon Ball saga, and we'd move on to the Saiyan saga. So that covers part 1 of what if Goku landed on Master Roshi's island. So we're just covering till the end of Dragon Ball. So second part, let's try to go for a like goal of, let's say, I don't know, 10, 15, that will be the goal. If we can get 10 or 15 likes, then I'll know you guys are actually interested in the series. I'll continue it, and we'll start in Dragon Ball Z. We'll start with Dragon Ball Z sagas, where Goku will actually have some kind of competition for power. Because obviously, as you can tell, if you land on Master Roshi's plan so far for Dragon Ball, he'd be way too overpowered. Anything that Dragon Ball can throw at him. If you liked the video, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is my first video in a long time. And just make sure we can get it for the algorithm. And also, don't forget to have a good day.